We're on day 28 of our learning of the book of Proverbs. We're almost finished, y'all. We only have what 3 more chapters to go, and we'll be done. So this is our study for learning about wisdom in the book of Proverbs. We are encountering the 31 days of March to read about the book of Proverbs so that we can gain wisdom and knowledge so we know what to do with the knowledge that we gain. Okay, so let's just jump on in because it's already late, so I'm ready to get started. So chapter 28 verse 1, it says, the wicked man flees though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. So the wicked man flees though no one pursues. So that means that he is fearful, that he's always thinking someone is out to get him. He is always looking over his shoulders, expecting to be caught, expecting something to happen, so he's always running. They never feel safe, right? And then it says, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. So the righteous is courageous. The righteous is bold. The righteous is not running. They have nothing to hide. They have nothing to run away from. So if they were to face trouble, if they were to face difficulty, they will stand 10 toes down versus running away, versus running away or being in hiding. They will be very courageous in those circumstances. Verse 2 says, when a country is rebellious, it has many rulers, but a man of understanding and knowledge maintains order. So a rebellious country goes through rapid changes, meaning that nothing is consistent. And because things are not consistent, USA, things are not able to be established because things are always changing, right? So it's a seesaw, like it's up and down, up and down. So it's never able to fully succeed in one area and thrive and flourish, right? So because of that, it goes through these changes, and we're always switching out rulers, people to rule over us and to lead us down either the right path or the wrong path. So that comes from a country that is rebellious, that is not walking in the paths of God. And as we see, we have plenty of laws that is not the will of God. So we are considered a rebellious country. And then it says, but a man of understanding and knowledge maintains order. So a wise ruler will be successful. A wise ruler will maintain order. They will have things in control. They will have control. They will have longevity. You see kings that is able to rule until their death. That means that they are wise. That means that they have they have the power to be able to make wise decisions and rule over a multitude of people, right? And lead them down the right path for the success of their kingdoms. And that's what we want. We want to have rulers that will lead us down the right path, that will bring success, that will bring favor, that will bring abundance to our nation. Instead of we just getting taken, everybody is coming and taken away from us, and we're becoming poor in many ways. Let's go. Chapter 3 or verse 3. It says, a ruler who oppresses the poor is like driving rain that leaves no crop. So this is the NIV version, but when you read this in any other translation, it actually said a poor man that oppresses the poor is like a storm that destroys the crops. So basically it says when a poor man get in position, get in some form of rulership, and then he start oppressing the poor, it doesn't make sense. So it says like a storm that destroys the crops. So when we receive rain is supposed to flourish the land, and rain is supposed to nourish the crops. But when you come and when a storm comes, or something that is like a tornado comes and uproot and destroy, it destroys everything that was in place. Or what was the whole purpose of us even having? Good. Yes. A poor state of mind. Excellent. 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 Yes. What was the point of you getting in position if you was gonna do the very same thing that you was gonna press us to? That you didn't even do any. You didn't do no better than the person who was wealthy, right? So that's what it said, that they come and destroy the very same. They come to destroy the people. Verse 4 says, those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but those who keep the law resist them. So those who abandon the law praise the wicked. They're happy that they are able to get away with their wickedness, that they're able to get away and that they're not being caught. But it says, but those who keep the law resist them. So then they are confronting them. They're making ways to, they're confronting them and not allowing them to continue on in their ways. So they receive some form of resistance to where that they're not able to succeed in their evil plans. Excuse me. Excuse me. Verse 5 says, evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand it fully. So evil men never see eye to eye with those who feel like, justice was served or this is fair, right? They always feel like it was another way around it, or they believe that things should have turned out differently. So they will never understand justice. They always feel as though that maybe that person didn't deserve it, or not even that they didn't deserve it. They probably feel like they probably should have been punished, but they would rather them get off. You know how people be like, dang, if they rooting for the wicked, they rooting for them to get off. They rooting for them to not be punished. So they don't understand justice when justice is being served. When people who are wicked get the punishment they deserve, they always say, oh, they just after the black folks, or they just after the women, they just after the men. No, they after the person who actually committed the crime, the person who actually did it. So they should be punished for what they done. So they don't understand justice. They always trying to find a way to have an excuse of why they shouldn't be punished, right? But it says, but those who seek the Lord understand it fully. So those who are on the Lord's side, who knows that is right to punish those who have done wicked, that it is right to show justice to the innocent, to those who are trusting in God to defend them, who are trusting in God to vindicate them. So when we those who walk uprightly, those who seek the Lord and seek his ways, we understand and we know that these people should have been punished. We know that these people should have justice be served unto them, that things should be that everyone should be treated fairly and justly. Verse 6 says, better a poor man whose walk is blameless than a rich man whose ways are perverse. Amen. Y'all, I'm reading the comments, y'all. But it says, better a poor man whose walk is blameless than a rich man whose ways is perverse. So it's better for us to walk blameless, for us to walk guiltless, for us to walk uprightly, even without the riches, instead of us risking our lives to gain honest gain, instead of us doing things that will cause harm to us, doing things that will dishonor us and defile us and cause God to punish us. It's better for us to walk uprightly. It's better for us to do the right thing and live poorly, even though that's not ideal, even though that's not something that we desire, right? No one wants to be poor, but he's saying it's better for us to be poor and do what's right than for us to receive riches and us to live wealthy, or wealthy man's life, and we are gaining these treasures through unhonest gains, that we're scheming and scamming, we're plotting evil, or we're cheating people, and we have unbalanced scales and all of these things so that we can gain riches. He says this is not the way to live deceitfully. Verse 7 says, he who keeps the law is a discerning son, but a companion of gluttons disgraces his father. So he who keeps the law is a discerning son. He who keeps the law is a wise son, is someone of good judgment, someone who has sense, right? And then it says, but a companion of gluttons disgraces his father. Those who are greedy, they disgrace their own father because of their greed, they either break the law. Because of their greed, they end up getting themselves in trouble, and they disgrace their father. They disgrace their father's name. They disgrace their family, right? So you know how those who are sons, right? They are to carry on their father's legacy. So when you destroy their father's legacy with your wicked deeds, this is how you bring disgrace to your father. This is how you dishonor him, right? And then verse 8 says, he who increases his wealth by exorbitant interest. I'm sorry, it says, he who increases his wealth by exorbitant interest. So that's a big word. And exorbitant means excessive, highly expensive, or more so not expensive, but highly what I wrote down. Yeah, excessively high. That's what the word means, that it is outrageous. Exorbitant means something that is extremely expensive or outrageous. So it costs, you know how they say it costs you an arm and a leg? That's what they're doing. That their interest rate is costing an arm and a leg. That the prices, or the price is what's the word? It's not appropriate. Like they have basically overcharged you, and they did it double. They doubled the overcharge payment. Like it's crazy. They exorbitant. If you look that word up, it means that they went beyond themselves. Like they really did too much. So basically, like I said, it costs you an arm and a leg. So, but it says he who increases his wealth by exorbitant interest. So then that means he's overcharging people, double overcharging people for him to receive wealth. And then it says amasses it for another who will be kind to the poor. And the word amasses means that they gather the riches that they're obtaining from overcharging people. It says they gather it for another, so that another person is actually the person that God sees fit, that will actually be kind to the poor, who will do right by the increase. Yes. So Gary says it's pretty much inflation, where they overcharge you, or they put extra little percentages on this and that, and and it's unfair, it's unjust. It's just like it's just like, come on now, like who finna pay this? Or why would you put all these extra taxes on here, and that was overboard. So God is saying, though you have done this, that extra increase that you have gathered is going to be given to someone else who's going to do right by it. So God always have a plan. God always have a plan, and He said that He will, and that person will be kind and give to the poor, right? Verse 9 says, if anyone turns a deaf ear to the law, even his prayers are detestable. So if anyone turns a deaf ear, meaning that they are now all of a sudden deaf, they can't hear. They all of a sudden just can't hear, and they don't want to apply the law to their lives. They refuse to obey. They refuse to hear instructions. And because of this, God dislikes it. And because of this, your prayers have now dishonored you. They have now been seen as works of evil, to the point where God don't even want to hear them, because you have now defiled yourself. You have now defiled yourself. So if anyone turns a deaf ear, turn away from the word of God. Turn away from his laws, his decrees, the things that he speak on, the things that he has given us instructions about. The Bible itself. Like he said, the Bible himself. If we turn a deaf ear to it, like when we know what to do and we turn away from it and we just say, oh, that don't apply to me. Or you can point fingers at everyone else, but you don't allow the word to transform you, to ridicule you in a way of transformation, of helping you grow, in a way of helping you to mature. He says even your prayers are detestable. That means he disliked them. They're not pleasing unto him. Verse 10 says, he who leads the upright along an evil path will fall into his own trap, but the blameless will receive a good inheritance. So leading the innocent down the wrong path will only snare your own foot. God is not going to allow you to continue to try to mislead people, especially those who are innocent, especially those who are guiltless, and you trying to entangle them up in sin, right? So he says, he who leads the upright, those who do what is right, along an evil path. That means you are deceiving them. That means that you trying to make it seem like what you doing is when it's not. But it says you will fall into his own, but that person will fall into his own trap. So they was deceiving, they was leading them down this path and trying to make it seem like, oh, this still the word of God. This is what God told us to do. Or you know what I'm saying, we're gonna do the right thing, but whole time it was a trap, whole time it was a snare. Right? And it said they're gonna fall in their own traps. They're gonna fall in their own deception. The very pit that they dug for you is gonna be what they fall into. Then it says, blameless will receive a good inheritance. So those who do what is right, those who choose to live a guiltless life, they will receive a good inheritance. They will receive everything that God has promised us. The full Jesus died for us to have. That is what we will have. Verse 11 says, a rich man may be wise in his own eyes, but a poor man who has discernment sees through him. So a rich man can deceive many, but those who have discernment, those who have good judgment, those who are wise, whether they're rich or poor, they will be able to discern a liar. So you can only hide behind your money to those who have no good sense, to those who are not able to read you, those who are blinded by your gifts, who are blinded by your lavish lifestyle, right? But those, even though they are poor, they can still have a mind that is wealthy, that is rich, that will be able to help them to discern that you is a liar, that you are a deceiver, that you are a snake, that you are a backstabber, that you are no good, right? So they don't need riches. People don't need riches to be able to have good sense. But the wealth of the man will try to fool you to believe that because of their wealth, that makes them wise. Because of their wealth, that they know exactly what they're talking about, or they can do whatever they want to do. Absolutely not. So have some discernment, have some good sense, and you will be able to lead. You will be able to discern the wiles of the enemy, okay, or those who try to fool you. Verse 12 says, when the righteous triumph, there is great elation. But when the wicked rise to power, men go into hiding. So the word elation means great joy. There is great excitement. Everyone around has this high spirit. So when the righteous triumphs, when the righteous has victory, when they're able to win, right? Everyone is so excited. Everyone is so full of joy. Everyone is just like, yay, clapping in high spirits. And they just like, yes, we made it. We did it, right? But it says, but when the wicked rise to power, men go into hiding. Why do men go into hiding when the wicked rise? Because when the wicked is in power, right, they're in position to rule, and when they're in position to rule, they can do every evil thing that they desire, right? So those who are wise will get off their radar. Those who are wise will go into hiding so that they are not able to be snared in the traps of that wicked person, right? So what even extra things that I have wrote down? So they will rather get out of their way. They would not want to cross paths with them, because those who are wicked only have desires to do evil, right? And if you're in the way, if you just so happen to cross their path and you just so happen to look at them the wrong way, something bad can happen to you. So instead of crossing paths with those who are evil, I'm trying to think of an example where I had felt like I had to avoid somebody that I knew that was evil, that I just was like, I don't even want to be around them. But I know I had an encounter, but I just can't think of it at this very moment. But that's exactly what it is, where you try to avoid wicked people because you know they're wicked, and you just like, you know what? I don't even want to be on their radar. I don't even want to be in their atmosphere to the point where they can harm me for no reason. You don't have to do something for evil people to hurt you. They just want to hurt you. You know, they have that's what their desires are. That's what they crave, is to do evil deeds. You said, but I wouldn't join them to change them. Absolutely not. You can know a wicked person. You know evil. You can discern evil. Your spirit won't even settle because you will feel this uneasiness. It's different being around people who are bad and you try to change them. But being around evil people, you can't change evil. This is why this is why Jesus, but I meant to say, this is why God says for us to flee from the devil, because he is terribly wicked. He says he only comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So if we even trying to be in his same atmosphere, in his same area, he has no desire to have mercy on us. He have no desire to do good to us because we are God's creation. So he don't love us. So if we join in with him, even though we join in with him, his whole plan is to still destroy us. He will use us to carry out his plan, but us being used by Satan is ultimately destroying us. Because even though you might rise and obtain these riches and all these things presently, your life will end in death. Or the things that you do will eventually get you in some form of trouble, to where your life will be called from you through murder, or you will be taken in captivity and be in prison. So serving Satan is no good. It leads to destruction. It leads to things being stolen from you, things being destroyed, or death. So being around evil is never going to benefit you in no way. I disagree. I disagree, Gary. I truly disagree. Like I said, it's two different kinds. You can be around a bad person, someone who's not on the right path, and they're self-destructing, they're self-sabotaging, and you can try to talk them out of it, and you can try to convince them otherwise. But evil people, you cannot convince them otherwise. And I'm gonna stand on that. I'm gonna stand on that. And I'm gonna move on, but yeah. Verse 12 says, we on verse 13. It says, he who conceals his sins does not prosper, but whoever confesses and renounces them find mercy. So he who conceals his sins. Well, Garrett, that's awesome. That is truly awesome. If you have been able to transform those who are wicked. And I'm not saying it's impossible. You know, maybe God has graced you for that. God has given you the ability to help those that are terribly wicked. But I do not recommend it, me personally. Or maybe God has not given me that grace to transform people in that kind of way. In that kind of way. I transform people in different ways, but not in that way. So it's different callings for everybody. So I'm not saying that it's not impossible. I'm not saying that you have not. But I'm just saying he has not called me to that. Verse 13 says, he who conceals his sins does not prosper, but whoever confesses and renounces them find mercy. So he who conceals his sins, those who cover up their sins, those who hide their sins, right? He says they do not prosper. Why would they not prosper? They will not prosper because they will continue to suffer because they're trying to hide it. They're trying to conceal it. They're trying to put a cap on it. And then it's actually going to end up just exploding and it's actually still going to be seen, right? It's still going to be there until you deal with it. So sin is always going to be present until you actually deal with it, until you actually confess it. And this is what he says: when you confess it and renounce them, you will find mercy. That's why the enemy wants to silence you. When you're in sin, he wants you to hide it. He wants you to keep it a secret, especially when things has happened to you, and especially those things that are traumatizing and you have never told anyone. When you keep it a secret, it weighs heavy on you. When you keep it a secret, it actually causes it to destroy you, right? So that's why those who have been hurt and abused, once they release it, once they speak on it, once they confess what happened, that heaviness is lifted up off of them and they feel free because the truth shall set you free. And this is exactly what this is similar to what this text is saying, because when we confess, that means that we're speaking the truth of what has happened. We're confessing the truth of what we are aware of the sin that we have done, that we have wronged, that we have been wicked, that we have forsaken the Lord, that we have been far from him, that we have abandoned his laws, right? So, but when you choose to conceal it and you try to hide it, you will suffer. But he says, those who confess and renounce. So when we renounce it, when we say, I no longer want to do this, I don't want no parts of it, we will have forgiveness. We will have love. We will have the love of God, and we will have his mercy, where he will forgive us and he will remove us. Remove the sin from us, remove the iniquity from us, remove our transgressions of what when we have trespassed against others. So he will remove the guilt, he will remove the shame, the humiliation, all of it that comes with it. Those things that needs to be uprooted from us, those things that has been deeply rooted in us, that we need to be cleansed from. He will do that for us. And that way, that's how we prosper. That's how we are able to rise above, right? That's how we're able to excel. Because isn't that what prospering is? When you excel, when you rise above, when you elevate, when you flourish, when you blossom. And we come alive again. We no longer are dead. So when we're in sin, we are dead. We're in a dark place. We're in a dry place. Okay? Verse 14 says, blessed is the man who always fears the Lord, but he who hardens his heart falls into trouble. So what does it mean to fear the Lord? It means to have deep reverence for him, to want to keep his laws, to want to keep his decrees, to want to do what he say, to listen and obey. Right? So you're fearful not to wrong him. You're fearful not to do what he has not asked us to, or to walk in his ways and not do the things that he has asked us not to do. It's like you know how you fear that you're going to be punished, or fear that you're going to be in trouble. And Gary says to not use his name in vain, to know who he is, to know that he's the almighty God, that he's so powerful, that he holds our lives in his hand, so that we actually know who he is. So to fear the Lord, say, man, God is real, for he truly is. So when we know these things, we don't want to sin. When we know these things, we don't want him to be angry with us. We don't want him to have fury against us, because we are not doing what he has asked us to do. Right? We don't want to become his enemy. So we should have that fear And then it says that man will be blessed. But it says, but he who hardens his heart falls into trouble. Just like Pharaoh. Pharaoh hardened his heart and decided to go back after the Israelites after he freed them, right? And because of this, he fell into trouble. And what was that trouble? He drowned in the depths of the sea because his heart was hardened. Because he refused to release, he refused to let go. Verse 15 says, like a roaring lion or a charging bear is a wicked man ruling over a helpless people. Like a roaring lion and a charging bear. We on verse 15. So they are full of rage. Their intent is to destroy. A roaring lion is, when a lion is roaring, more so they're like showing their dominion, their power, their authority, right? So they're not necessarily seeking to attack you in that very moment. They letting you know who they are. When a lion is roaring, they're letting you know who they are, that they have the power, that they have the authority, that they rule, right? But a charging bear is seeking to attack you. So this means that these people, this means that this ruler is power struck. Is that what they said when they basically boasting about how powerful they are? So that's what the lion is doing when it's roaring, is boasting about how powerful it is. It is boasting about its rulership. And that's what this ruler is doing in this moment. And then it says a charging bear. So a bear is coming to attack, right? So the bear has this rage that wants to destroy you, that wants to kill you. So this says this is a wicked man ruling over helpless people, meaning they have no hope. They have no hope. They not in power or any. They don't have any control. They don't have any. They don't even have a voice to stop what is about to take place because of this wicked ruler, right? And then verse 16 says a tyrannical ruler lacks judgment. So tyrannical also means cruel, someone who is brutal, ruthless, harsh. So God is really highlighting those who are in leadership, those who are ruling over people and their conduct. We just read 3 back-to-back scriptures about those who ruling or those who are in power and position, and have been brutal. They have been harsh. They have been evil. It's no need for you to be so harsh and cruel to people, right? So God is highlighting that. He says they lacks no good judgment. They lacks judgment. Then he says, but he who hates ill-gotten gain will enjoy a long life. So like I said, the tyrannical ruler is someone who is brutal, who is ruthless. So they don't have any good sense. Why they don't have any good sense is because if you know that you have people under you that's going to serve you, that means that you should want to be kind to them, right? Because they're more willing to do work for you. They're more willing to go the extra mile for you. They're more willing to work longer hours for you. They're more willing to submit to you. But when you're harsh and cruel, that's when you have um a high what is it, turnover rate, when people quit their jobs. This is when you're not able to keep the people employed. This is when people are bashing the company, talking bad about the employees. This is when when the kingdom falls apart because you're so cruel, you're so harsh. You don't have any person to serve you. You have no one to speak for you and vouch for you. because everyone wants you gone. Everyone wants you out of here. They would rather you be dead. They will rejoice if something was to happen to you, versus they will be sorrowful and mourning. So be mindful of how you treat people, especially those that you have stewardship over, those that you're ruling over. For God sees all and he knows all. Verse 17 says, a man tormented by the guilt of murder will be a fugitive till death. Let no one support him. So just like Cain was tormented for the death of his brother Abel, right? So he was rejected and God put a mark on him to the point where it's that if anyone was to kill him, they will be punished 7 times worse than what Cain was. So Cain remained in a state of misery. He couldn't escape this prison that he was in, that he was always going to be punished for what he has done. So this is what he's saying about verse 17. He says, a man tormented by the guilt of murder, that they will never be free. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of people who have murdered somebody and they said they just feel like they always feel like someone is after them. They have horrible dreams as if they have been uh possessed, right? So they're always tormented. So evil now has access to them and they torment them. And just like Cain was tormented by the harsh punishment that God had given unto him for what he did to his brother. He said they will remain as a fugitive until death. So they will always be cast out. Verse 18 says, he whose walk is blameless is kept safe, but he whose ways are perverse will suddenly fall. That's pretty self-explanatory. Those who walk as blameless will be kept safe. Those who do what is right, they will be safe. You will be kept from evil. You will be kept from all harm. You will walk down the path of protection. God will protect you. But he says, but those whose ways are perverse will suddenly fall. You won't even know what make you fall, because you're deceitful, because you do wicked things. So you don't know what causes you to fall. So it will be suddenly. It will just happen swiftly. Right? And then verse 19 says, he who works his land will have abundant food, but the one who chases fantasies will have his fill of poverty. So he who works the land will have abundant food. So those who are diligent workers, those who actually get up and work, they will have an abundance of food. They will never lack. But those who chases after fantasy, so what is a fantasy? That's mean that you're imagining things, that you're always in your head, you're always fantasizing, wishing for other stuff, or trying to come up with a scheme or plot to escape the work, to whereas that you don't have to work. So you would rather come up with a scheme so that you can just receive riches. Right? So those are those who are always plotting and scheming and trying to find a way to have honest gain so they don't have to do no work. But those who work their land, those who go out in the field, those who do the work that is required of them, they will have abundance and they will never lack. They're not sitting up thinking of trying to think of a master plan of how they gonna get out of this work so they can scheme and scam. Verse 20 says, and it says fantasies will lead them to poverty. And then verse 20 says, a faithful man will be richly blessed, but one eager to get rich would not go unpunished. So a faithful man, someone who is diligent in their work, once again, those who are loyal, those who do what is called of them, those who are not cheaters, those who are not trying to scheme and scam, they out there working and allowing their wealth to grow. He says those people will be blessed. But the one who is eager to get rich, how could you be eager to get rich? Hmm? That means that you're stealing, you're robbing, you're finding ways to have honest gains. You know, maybe through credit cards, maybe lying on your taxes, uh, you know, lying on your resume. You do all kind of stuff to lie, you know, to get honest gains. So it says those things who are eager to get rich, meaning that you probably out here stealing other people's identity trying to get rich. You would not go unpunished. You would not go unpunished. Verse 21 says, to show partiality is not good, yet a man will do wrong for a piece of bread. To show partiality is not good. Be fair, be just, have balanced scales. Make sure that everyone reap what they sow. Make sure that everyone is punished according to what is due unto them. Don't show any partiality. Don't show any favoritism, right? And then it says, yet a man will go wrong, will do wrong for a piece of bread. So when you're hungry, when you in need, right? You would do almost anything. And especially those who are offered a bribe. So it says, a man would do wrong for a piece of bread. A piece of bread can be symbolic for money, right? So if somebody was to bribe you, if someone was to offer you some money, you would do something. You would do something that will possibly get you in trouble. You would do wrong in order for you to get the bribe that was offered to you. Maybe you would get on the stand and lie and accuse somebody of doing something that they didn't do. Right? That's doing something wrong. You have committed a crime by falsely being a false witness. Okay? So that's you being hungry for a piece of bread, hungry for some money, that you're willing to do anything. Verse 22 says, a stingy man is eager to get rich and is unaware that poverty awaits him. A stingy man is someone who is hoarding, who's trying to keep it all for themselves. And because of this, they're not able to build any relationships. Because of this, they lack good judgment to know that they need a community. They need other people to help them grow. They need other people to build, right? But because they so selfish, because they only want it all for themselves, and they pinching off every dollar and not spreading out, sowing seeds in different areas so that those seeds can grow and flourish in other lands, and they can get twice as much. And this person or that person, whatever, right? Because they had spread out their seeds, but because they hold it all for themselves, they will come to poverty. But the one who is wise, the one who knows that they need community, the ones who know that they need other people to be able to come back and show favor to them, to be able to come back and show favor to their children even when they dead and gone. That means that you have built rapport, you have built relationships to the point where people will remember what you have done for them when they didn't have it, and then when they up, they're going to bless you. And then they're going to even add some interest on it. But because you was foolish, you tried to keep it all for yourself. And your selfishness has brought you to poverty, has brought you down to lack. Your selfishness has now made you be without, because now you don't have any connections. Now you don't have anybody to vouch for you. So your eagerness to get rich by yourself, your eagerness to only think of yourself, has brought you to poverty. Thank you, Garrett. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you too, sister. I said sister. I love you too, brother. Um, Verse 23 says, he who rebukes a man will in the end gain more favor than he who has a flattering tongue. That's right. That's right. Garrett says, put yourself in Jesus' shoes. Um, Forgive. And if a man is hungry, feed him. Exactly. Because when we do that, We are not only feeding that poor man or that person in need, but we actually giving to Jesus. We're feeding Jesus for providing for those who are less fortunate, for providing for those who lack. Verse 23 says, "He who rebukes a man will in the end gain more favor than he who has a flattering tongue." Why would a rebuke gain more favor? Because that means that you're correcting them. That means that you're setting them on the right path. That means that you don't want them to continue to make the same mistakes, right? You don't want them to continue to walk in folly. If that wasn't the right move, you want to correct them and say, "Hey, you went about that the wrong way. Let me show you the way." Right? So, or that, you did good in this, but you kind of, dropped the ball here. That wasn't your best. So this rebuke, this constructive criticism will gain more favor, because now this person can see that you're truthful. This person can see that you're an honorable man or woman who are going to help, who truly wants to help them, or who truly want to see them win, right? But the one who has a flattering tongue will not gain favor or as much favor, because we all like compliments, right? We all want to hear those good things. We're not so eager to hear criticism or rebuke. But when we do hear it, those who are wise will listen and heed to it, right? But those who, if you have people all around you who always flattering you, who always speaking kind words to you, and nobody is rebuking you or correcting you, you need to open your eyes and see who around you, because those are nothing but snakes that is deceiving you. Those are wolves in sheep clothing. Because somebody should be able to, because nobody is perfect and nobody does everything great. And if everybody around you is keep telling, "Oh, you're great, you're fine, you're wonderful, you're perfect," they are a liar. And they want to see you fall. They want to see you destroy yourself. But if you have people, if you even, it don't have to be all of them. You can just probably have about 2 or 3 people, 2 solid people that say they can pull you to the side. They don't got to telling you in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? They can, at a later time, they hit you up and say, "Hey, great job. But I want to give you, a few pointers here. Great job." Or, "You know what? I love the show. I love what you did, but I didn't feel like it was your best. I think you could do better. But let me explain why I feel this way." So these are people that you need in your corner. People who are going to tell you the good and the bad. And you definitely don't need somebody who always got some bad to say, because you need to get rid of that person right away, because they're not being wise, and they're not for you either. They want to break you, and they want to destroy your confidence. So be aware, be able to discern. If the person is always saying something good, they're not for you either. And the person that's always saying something bad, they're not for you either. So you need a good balanced scale. You need them to be able to say the good and the bad. That's what you need. And you will flourish. But if you only have one on this side and one on this side, and neither one of them has the other balance scale, then you're gonna have to get some more people. You're gonna have to reevaluate who's in your circle. And if you're being authentic with yourself, are you being an authentic person? Because authentic person attract other authentic people, and they're going to be authentic with you. Yes, you're going to still have some people who don't know their identity, so they actually still pretending. But as long as you true to yourself, you will bring out that authenticity in other people, to the point where they're like, "Well, if Micah's herself, well, should I might as well be myself," right? Because you're so authentic, you're so raw. You come at them with truthness. You come up there with what is real. So they're able to remove their facades. They're able to remove whatever covering they had, And they're able to give you the raw in return. They were able to give you the truth in return, and the truth and the authenticity that you're in need of. Okay? And then what's verse we on now, y'all? A greedy man, we on verse 25, or maybe. No, we on verse 24. So it says, he who robs his father. Oh my God, we almost been on here for an hour. It says, he who robs his father or mother and says, it's not wrong. He is partner to him who destroys. Who destroys? Satan. He says the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So he says he is a partner with him. Those who rob his father or mother and say that it is not wrong, that it's okay for them to steal from their own parents. It's okay for them to rob their own parents blind and lie about it and try to make it seem as though it is a good deed, or try to make it seem as, oh, nothing wrong with this. I'm their child. Nothing's wrong with this. They don't care. But did you ask them? How would you feel if somebody was just robbing you and claiming to be your people, your family member? You'll be hot. You ready to throw them in the jail, right? Because you feel like, how could you steal from me and you my family? But this is you stealing from your own father and mother and claiming that it's not wrong, that you have every right to do it, right? So God says that you are a partner to him who destroys. And who is he who destroys? Satan. Verse 25 says, a greedy man stirs up dissension. Dissension. That's how you say that word. You can't even open your mouth. Dissension. So a greedy man stirs up dissension, which is discord, disagreements that leads to discord. And it says, but he who trusts in the Lord will prosper. So those who are greedy, those who want it all for themselves and who want to plot against others, and they cause arguments and disagreements and strife, all because they want it all for themselves. They want the bigger piece of the pie, and they're not trying to compromise, or they're not trying to be fair, and they just too greedy. But those who trust in the Lord, those who put their trust in the Lord, those who know that God is going to be their source, their provider, they will always prosper. So they don't have to be greedy. They don't have to try to get over on people. They don't have to try to get the biggest piece of the pie and be unjust to others. They know who their supplier is, and they know who is ruler over all, and they know who created the heavens and the earth, and who said that the cattle on 1,000 hills is his. The silver is mine, the gold is mine, is what he said, right? So everything is the Lord. Verse 26 says, he who trusts in himself is a fool, but he who walks in wisdom is kept safe. So those who put their own trust, who follow their own ways, is a fool. For he says, lean not on your own understanding. For we don't know. God knows the plans for our lives. And when we see and we try to make, when we say, oh, we just gonna figure life out, we just gonna go with the flow of things, then we are a fool. And our ways will lead us to destruction, right? But it says, but he who walks in wisdom is kept safe. So those who walk in wisdom walk in the way of the Lord. Those who walk in wisdom is protected from evil, and they're protected from destruction, from the path of destruction is what I was going to say. They're protected from the path of destruction because they walk in the paths of righteousness. Okay? And then verse 27 says, he who gives to the poor will lack nothing, but he who closes his eyes to them receives many curses. He who gives to the poor will lack nothing. Those who give to those in need, those who give to the less fortunate, those who give to the widows, the fatherless, the orphans, the homeless, He said, you will lack for nothing. But he says, but he who closes his eyes to them receive many curses. Those who turn to, who become blind all of a sudden, who act like they don't see the homeless out there asking for money. Oh, they can get out here and work. Listen. Listen, God has been merciful to us. God has been kind to us. There's a lot of stuff that we can get out here and do, but we have yet to do. And God still keep us. God still preserve our lives. God still help us when He know that we can't help ourselves. A lot of those people, they want help, but sometimes they get themselves in situations that they can't help themselves, right? So if we can be a helping hand, why not? Why not? Because otherwise you'll be filled with curses. Where he says they receive many curses. Verse 28 says, when the wicked rise to power, people go into hiding. But when the wicked perish, the righteous thrive. Once again, when the wicked rise in power, no one wants to be in their presence. No one wants to cross paths with them. No one wants to rub shoulders with them because they know that they're evil. Right? So instead of them even being able to, instead of being in their way, we would rather be out of their way so that we can be safe, so that we can be protected. Right? But it says, but when the wicked perish, the righteous thrive. So when the wicked is no more, the righteous shall thrive. The righteous shall thrive. So they will no longer be in hiding. They will no longer have to hide away from the evil one. But they can flourish and they can thrive and they can soar. Because they don't have to worry about someone coming after their life, trying to destroy them, trying to heal them, trying to kill them, the innocent, the guiltless, the forgiven one. So y'all, that concludes chapter 28. It was 28 verses in this chapter. So I always recommend you guys to go and read for yourself as well. So this was chapter 28 of the book of Proverbs, and we have 3 more to go, and I'm super excited about that because, like I said, this has been a journey, but I have learned so much. I have learned new words, just by me looking up the word meanings, and now being able to have those extra words in my vocabulary is definitely a blessing and a bonus. So yeah, guys, I highly recommend us seeking the word of God so that we can learn, so we can excel, so that we can increase. For that is the goal. We want to increase in every area of our life, not just financially, but every area of our life, spiritually, relationally, emotionally, of course, financially. Everybody want to increase in that area, but we want to increase in areas that will be beneficial to us as well. Here on earth. So I'll talk to you guys later. I thank you guys for tuning in. I see that we had a lot of commenters today. So guys, just watch the replay if you have just joined in. I know this video was pretty long. It's right at an hour. So I'm about to get off. It's already late. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. Bye. God is love. May He bless you and keep you throughout the night. Amen.